Good day, listeners. This is Ryan.
And this is Kyle.
And you're listening to
The Doctor's Watcher, the Abominable podcast about every episode of Doctor Who.
I mean, that sounds bad, but what does it actually mean to get abomined?
You know, I don't even actually know what, like, the dictionary definition of that word is.
Right. Like, all I actually know is that usually the bad guys are called abominable. If it's snowmen, you know, they're generally like eating people and doing things like that.
The dictionary that the non-Google search engine gave me says unequivocally detestable or loathsome, thoroughly unpleasant or disagreeable, worthy of or causing abhorrence as a thing of evil omen, odious in the utmost degree. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good description of the podcast.
yeah, indeed. Like, we have created an abomination, we have abominated, which I suppose proves that we are abominable.
Nice.
So, how's it going, Kyle?
It's going all right. I thought I would talk a little bit about a book I've been reading recently. I told you not too long ago about how our uncle sent me a bunch of his old Star Trek stuff, and that included like a couple boxes of books. So
nice. Yep.
I kind of thought like I should start reading some Star Trek books, and I've kind of been like, you know, alternating non-Star Trek book and then Star Trek book. And I decided to start reading them like in publication order, basically. And so I'm currently probably about halfway to 2/3 of the way through the very first Star Trek novel written for adults. I guess there was one earlier that was written for kids that I don't have a copy of. But the first Star Trek novel written for adults, which is Spock Must Die.
Oh, very dramatic title.
And yeah, it's pretty entertaining so far. I might say spoilers, so heads up, anyone who doesn't want to hear spoilers for a novel that was written in the mid to late 1960s. But the basic premise of it is that there's an episode of TOS called Errand of Mercy that was about like the Enterprises go into this planet because they think Klingons are going to come take over the planet, and they want to like help evacuate the people and whatever before the Klingons get there. And the people at the planet are like, nah, we're good. Don't worry about it. And Kirk's like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, they're going to enslave you and shit. And the people are like, it's fine. We're good. And as it turns out, the people of the planet are like godlike energy creatures who are very pacifist and just like prevent, when the Klingons show up, they prevent the Starfleet people and the Klingons from fighting each other. Like, their weapons just get like too hot to touch, and like you can't shoot your phaser at the other dude if you can't hold your phaser.
Right.
And
nice.
Apparently they, at the same time, they did this to like all Federation and Klingon ships like in the galaxy or whatever. So like, you know, they just really can't fight each other. And I guess that act was kind of like the beginning of like the first kind of shaky peace between the Federation and the Klingons in the show.
Wow. Okay. Huh.
But in this novel, the Klingons are like gearing up to attack again, and they the Enterprise is like trying to scan this planet because they're like, won't the fucking dudes at Organia like prevent this war from happening? But they don't seem to be preventing it. So they scan and there's like, seems like the planet's not there. So they're like, we should go check it out and figure out what's going on. But it's going to take us like several months to fly there. But Scotty is like, I could rig the transporter up to do a bunch of technobabble that would allow us to like beam somebody all the way there. Even though it's like way out of normal transporter range. And so, we could just beam someone there. They can like check shit out and we'll beam them back like a day later. And then we'll at least know what's going on. So they try that. And what it actually does, instead of sending Spock to Organia, is it makes a transporter clone of him. And they're both on the Enterprise. And
damn it, Scotty.
They think one of them is like a mirror clone. So obviously he's like bad and evil and probably would like help the Klingons and stuff. So that kind of ends up being like the main thrust of the book is like, we have to figure out first which of the two Spocks is like the good one that we want to keep around and which is the evil one that we need to deal with. And whichever the evil one is probably needs to die.
Right.
And
yeah, I was just thinking like, oh, that'd be so easy to tell between the good and evil Spock, but like an evil Spock could use sophistry and like trickery.
Right.
So then you're back to being pretty much fucked again.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's been pretty entertaining so far. Like I said, I'm about probably 2/3 of the way through, so I don't know quite how it's going to get resolved. They have, at this point, like figured out which Spock they want to keep and which one they want to get rid of. But of course, the one that they want to get rid of is now like hiding and running, so they need to like track him down.
Nice. Sounds very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So that godlike race of people that did the stuff with the weapons and all that, didn't we get one, like we ended up in lower decks with a Starfleet crew member who was from that race, right? Isn't that what's her name was? The godlike lady that could, or was she kind of like, she was like a,
was she the one
or something, wasn't she?
Who'd kind of like split into like 2 or 3 different pieces or something? We might be thinking of different characters. I'm not sure.
Maybe. Like I feel like she always had like a fig leaf headpiece on kind of thing. I think she was like Roman god themed.
Oh, I think I remember who you're talking about, but I think she might have been a different godlike species.
Okay. They definitely encountered like more than one in their adventures.
Yeah, TOS had a lot of them.
Yeah.
I guess this particular godlike species was in Enterprise, though.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so what have you been up to?
Not too much. I haven't had a lot of book reading time, unfortunately. Like I told you earlier, I'm still on book 8 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl. But that partially the reason why for that is we're like kind of in the middle of finalizing again, like the house sale stuff. So
nice.
It's still like dragging on. But pretty much all of it's ready to go. Hopefully, like just for context listeners, we're toward the like last third of June when we record this. And the house is scheduled to close. So my house is scheduled to sell July 31st. And then we're scheduled to sign, and, we've already signed papers and stuff, but like we're then scheduled to take that money and use it as a purchase for our new house. So like already it's kind of like that's a small chain of dominoes.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And then the part that sucks is at the very beginning of the chain of dominoes, these people that are purchasing our house kind of a long distance in the future, like when they signed, it was like 2 months in the future. They signed with a contingency that says they have to sell their house.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, so like if they don't sell their house, they're not going to buy my house, which means I won't be able to buy the next house. So it's like a whole thing of dominoes that like if they fuck up, which they haven't sold their house yet, like it's like, God damn. When we first started, and they're kind of in the same area that I'm currently in. They're in the same town, same city, like different neighborhood. Like when we first put our house on the market, the realtor was like, this is going to sell so fast. Like this is going to be no problem, blah, blah, blah. She really thought that, but it took a while to sell. And I think our buyers maybe have had that same thing. Like, oh, we'll be able to sell our house. No problem. But it's hard to sell houses out here when there's new construction closer to Atlanta. And a lot of times new construction has like perks, like they'll give you a lower APR for the first 2 years, or, they'll pay for some of the closing costs or whatever. Like they do perks a lot.
Sure.
So they're pretty tempting, new construction's pretty tempting. And the house we're buying is new construction. So yeah, like we heard last week, our realtor is assisting those people's realtor to market their house. And it's like, fuck, like, thanks for doing that. I appreciate that you're doing that, but that does not inspire confidence.
Yeah, seriously.
So, like, worst case, everything falls through, all the dominoes fall down, like, it's basically okay. Like, we'll be just still in this house. But, we do want to be closer to the city, and we do want, like, we've got some whatever financial goals and stuff we're trying to go for, and that are a little bit out of reach with this house.
Right.
Because it's kind of pricey, and it's more house than we really need. So anyway, yeah, worst case, like, it's not that bad, but it'll just be a lot of stress, and I'll be like really annoyed, and probably like whine and moan to everyone I talk to for like a week or two.
Well, if we have...
That's a fingers crossed type situation.
If we have any listeners in Georgia who want to buy a house, hopefully by the time you hear this episode, it'll all be done. But, reach out.
Yeah, we do have, because their offer has a contingency. What we have on our side is a kick-out clause, which means, like, if someone comes in and makes a better offer, we can kick out the first one and take the better one. And even that, I don't know. I don't want to talk trash about things I don't really understand, but like, so our realtor, I mean, is, she was like saying, like, your house is still there on the sites. And, I'm monitoring comms in case anyone wants to do a tour or make an offer or whatever. But the house itself says, under contract or pending or whatever, like, it shows that there's been an accepted offer.
Right.
And I was like, so who's gonna come do a tour? Who's gonna make even an offer?
Gonna like be interested?
They think it's sold. Yeah. And she's like, oh, well, sometimes when like people are operating like independently or like without a realtor, like sometimes they don't notice that. And I'm like, that's what don't even say that. Like, you're not marketing shit. Like, you're not doing a damn thing. You're focusing on this sale now. Like, don't say that we're still open for better offers. No, we're not. Like, we are, but no one's going to come look. It's under contract. They're going to say that's over.
Yeah, seriously.
So I don't know, like the whole step of the, like every step of the way, someone nickel and dimes you. You know, a realtor is just there to take large percentage, not large, but to take a chunk of money from the sale that I did that I could have arranged, you know, using like the internet. And I could have also arranged my tours and my purchase and whatever, also using the internet. I do not need a realtor.
Yeah.
Like no one does. No one does. But like their industry is huge and they take, you know, $30,000-$40,000 or whatever. It depends on how much, you know, the sale prices are.
Sure.
But they take a chunk of cash for, not all of them actually do that much. And I think the one we have now, she's nice and I like working with her, but sometimes I just feel like she's not actually doing that much.
Yeah. Kind of seems like it could be a pretty cushy job sometimes.
Yeah, like she's got a new baby, and like having a brand new baby, and having a brand new baby has not stopped her apparently in the least for doing realtor stuff. And it's like, then what are you doing? Having a brand new baby stops almost everyone for doing almost every job.
Yeah.
But not you. So what's the difference? I don't think she's neglecting it, hopefully. I know the hubby takes it, you know, a lot of times, but still. Anyway, yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to, being in house limbo again. I'm just getting used to being in like house limbo.
Yeah, for real. Hopefully that gets resolved. Like, yeah, relatively soon.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll know in just over a month, if nothing else. So.
Well, cool. I think you mentioned earlier off mic that you had a joke for today.
Yeah, I did. I saw my doctor the other day, and he's such a nice guy. He told me I have a big heart. And I said, "Oh, thanks, doc." And he said, "Well, technically it's enlarged from years of substance abuse." But I know what he really meant.
Nice. Well, let's find out how big the doctor's heart is.
Yeah, and does he only have just the one? Or Klingons have two, I think.
This is, of course, episode 2 of the Abominable Snowmen, episode 6 of season 5 overall. And I mentioned in the previous episode that one episode of this serial exists, and it's actually this one.
Nice.
And not only does it exist, but it's on the same BBC YouTube channel as like all the animated ones I've been watching recently.
Cool.
So I watched the actual for real episode this time. I couldn't really find very much on how or why it still exists. I just found a sentence on the wiki that said it was returned in 1982, having been recovered from the collection of a retired BBC projectionist.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's a case of like, dude was like, "Oh yeah, I totally destroyed that reel of tapes." Sure.
Right. I destroyed it slowly by replaying it over and over in my basement.
So would you remind us of the Cliff Dingler?
Yeah, so the doctor has been imprisoned by an English, I guess, kind of an anthropologist type dude and a bunch of Tibetan monks. And meanwhile, Jamie and Victoria are trapped in a caves. And the cave, the boulder blocking the cave door just was rolled aside, again, very Jesus style, but then contrary to Jesus style, abominable snow egg thing walked in.
Nice. Yeah,
I think that was our clip dangler.
abominable grimace.
Yeah, right.
Abominable egg.
Right. Light brown grimace. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Jamie starts pushing on one of the structural pieces of wood in the cave, and he basically collapses this beam that's supporting some of the roof beams, and he causes a portion of the ceiling to collapse onto the Yeti, burying it in, big chunks of rock and dirt and stuff, with, just like a hand or a paw, I suppose, sticking out from the rock pile.
That's always the way it works out. Just one hand or paw, out the top.
So he and Victoria take a moment to regroup. Jamie takes, you might remember there's like a pyramid of silver spheres in the cave. So he takes the top silver sphere and pockets it. And they look at this cave-in that he caused, and it's not fully blocking off the entrance to the cave. So they're able to kind of pick their way past and climb over the rubble to head towards the exit. But of course, the Yeti's hand starts twitching, and then we see the pile of rocks kind of start to shift and whatever as this Yeti moves under the rocks. So Jamie and Victoria just GTFO and, start running down the hill away from the cave. The abominable snowman has climbed out of the rock pile and is chasing after them, basically. And Jamie wants to head back to the TARDIS, but Victoria wants to go to the monastery so they can warn the doctor. And it's unclear which way they go, but we cut to the doctor in his cell in the monastery. He's playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on his recorder. And so there's the monk who was kind of investigating these deaths. That's Crisong. And Crisong's assistant shows up at the doctor's cell. He says Crisong wants him or whatever. And the doctor just kind of starts chatting with the assistant, trying to see if there's any more dialogue nodes he can unlock. And we learn that the assistant's name is either Tomni or Tonmi.
Huh.
Most of the characters throughout the serial say Tomni, but a couple characters and the actual subtitles say Tonmi.
Interesting.
The doctor mentions having been here before. Apparently, this is not his first visit to the monastery. And he asks what ended up happening with the attack in 1630. And Tomni's like, oh yeah, that was when our cool bell, the Ganta, got taken. So the doctor wants Tomni to take him to the abbot. He says that he's brought something for the abbot. And he starts reaching under the straw mattress in this cell to pull it out. But then Crisong shows up wondering what the hell is taking Tomni so long to collect the doctor. So Crisong just takes the doctor away. And Tomni follows for a moment, but then he kind of goes back and he looks under the straw mattress and of course finds this drawstring bag with the Ganta inside of it. So he's like, oh shit, and like starts praying or whatever. It turns out Krisong doesn't want the doctor for questioning. He has other plans for him. This other monk, Rinchen, objects to Krisong's plans. Rinchen's like, dude, we haven't like talked to the abbot about it yet. Remember, we were going to like ask the abbot. And Krisong's like, dude, you were going to ask the abbot. Like, I never agreed to that. And Rinchen's like, you know, you want us to agree to murder, basically. And Krisong just says that he's done waiting. He doesn't need to talk to the abbot about like every single decision he makes, and that their hands will be clean. And Rinchen's like, I don't know, dude, like, you're really like splitting the ethical hairs on that one. Of course, we don't quite know what the plan is yet, but Krisong thinks that the doctor is trying to turn the Yetis savage for some unknown reason. So his plan apparently is to basically use the doctor as bait. He wants to like tie the doctor up to the gate outside the monastery. And if the Yetis come to rescue him, they'll know he's guilty. And Krisong's warriors will be there to deal with him. And if he's innocent, then Krisong's warriors will be there to protect him from any Yeti attacks.
But wait. So if the Yetis show up, they're deciding he's guilty.
Uh-huh.
But if he's innocent and the Yetis show up, presumably they will be there to protect him, but instead they will decide he's guilty.
Right. Yeah, like they won't know to protect him until the Yetis are like already attacking.
Right. Great plan, guys. Great plan.
Uh-huh.
This is along the lines of, we think you are a witch, so we will dunk you in water. And if you drown, cool, you're innocent. But if you don't drown, we're going to burn you.
Right. Yeah. So he just takes the doctor outside, and, you know, we cut to Tomny, who's carefully carrying the bell through a monastery corridor. He kind of hesitates for a moment in front of a particular door, and then the door opens and he prostrates himself on the ground as the abbot Song Sen comes out of the room and is like, dude, you know that I'm the only one who's supposed to come back here, right? And then he sees what Tommy has, and he's like, whoa, shit, where'd you get that? And Tomny's like, this is the Ganto, right? And he and the abbot both hear a disembodied voice saying,
"It is my son. 200 years or more it has been lost to us. How came you by it?"
And Tomny's like, what the fuck? And the abbot's like, oh yeah, like that's the voice of our master, Padmasambhava. You should like answer him.
Weird.
Uh-huh. So Tomny says that a stranger brought it, and Padmasambhava's voice is like,
The doctor. So he has returned.
and then he like switches back to his nice voice and like asks the two of them to bring it into the room to him. So Song Sen motions for Tommy to enter the inner sanctum.
It's Tomy's lucky day.
Totally. Now that we are seeing the abbot, you had mentioned between episodes wanting to hear more about what these monks kind of looked like. So
Yeah.
yeah. I think only some of them are warrior monks, and some of them are just like meditation, like monastery monks.
Okay.
They're all in robes. They've got like kind of orangish robes and kind of reddish robes. The abbot actually wears like a red robe with kind of like an orange wrap over it. The monks tend to wear like black robes with like white piping around like the collar and the armholes and stuff. And they've got kind of like little swoopy pointy bits on the ends of the shoulders.
Nice.
And then some of them don't wear hats, but then some of them wear like kind of pointy, like leather looking hats with like big ear flaps that are like sometimes hanging down and sometimes kind of folded up.
Nice.
And then the abbot actually has this like sort of orange or gold hat with kind of like a big swoopy thing that like kind of comes forward to a point in the front. That's pretty fun.
Oh, cool. Awesome. That's cooler than I was picturing.
And yeah, I will also mention having watched mostly animated episodes, but this one in particular being the real one, that like the animation did a pretty good job of preserving the style of the original episodes in like, you know, the set and the costumes and stuff.
Cool.
So as they enter the inner sanctum, the doctor has been tied up outside the monastery at the gate in front. His hands are like tied above his head, and there are some warrior monks posted nearby.
Any attempt to rescue will now be highly dangerous for you.
Look, nobody is going to rescue me, least of all an abominable snowman. And hasn't it occurred to you that, innocent or guilty, whatever's been killing your monks might very well kill me?
If you are innocent, then let us hope that we will have the time to rescue you.
What a dick. Man.
So yeah, I think I mentioned in the previous episode that it kind of seemed at first like he wasn't sure whether the doctor was guilty or not. Now it kind of seems like he doesn't really care whether the doctor's guilty or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now the doctor, yeah, he's turned into not a person, but bait.
Yeah.
That's bait.
The humanoid mind is inquisitive. We knew that somebody like you would listen to our podcast one day. Now you belong to us. You shall be like us. You shall leave 5-star ratings and reviews on the podcast platform of your choice, and you shall tell your friends about the pod. And now, back to the show.
Victoria and Jamie seem to have lost the Yeti that was following them, but they run into Travers, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you out here on the mountain?" And he kind of assumes that they're associated with the doctor, who he still thinks is like a newspaper man, and that they're part of some press expedition to find the Yeti. But Victoria's like,
"We're not part of anything. We're just visiting the monastery."
He learns that they've just encountered a Yeti in a cave, and he really wants them to show him where the cave is. But Victoria doesn't want to go back to the cave because, you know, it's like dangerous and scary and stuff. Jamie agrees to show Travers the cave if Travers shows them how to get to the monastery first. And Travers agrees to that and leads him down the hill. in the inner sanctum, the voice of Padmasambhava, I should say the nice voice of Padmasambhava, asks if the doctor was alone, which Tommy says that he is, and Padmasambhava says that they're happy to get the Ganta back, and the doctor's their friend, and the voice instructs Tommy to go tell Krisong that the abbot says that they have to be nice to the doctor. The voice's instructions are very clear that Tommy should specify that, this directive came from the abbot, and, not from Padmasambhava, and actually tells Tommy that he will forget that he spoke to Padmasambhava or even entered the inner sanctum room. So Tommy gets up and leaves, and he closes the door behind him, and after he closes the door, he gets kind of this like weird what the fuck look on his face for a second and walks off. Back inside the inner sanctum, the raspy version of Padmasambhava's voice says that they need to make sure that the doctor doesn't learn what's going on.
He may not show sympathy for the powers that guide us. He may even seek to hinder the great plan.
So who's pulling the strings here? Like who's even the voice? Interesting.
Yeah, and then it just like switches back to the nice version of the voice, which is like,
It might be wise if he departs as soon as possible.
So even the nice one's like, ooh, got to get this guy out of here.
yeah, seriously. The monks who are on watch at the monastery gate see some movement in the distance, and they're like, oh shit, Yetis are coming, get ready. But the movement that they see is actually Travers and Jamie and Victoria. And as they all approach, the doctor kind of starts shouting at Jamie and Victoria, like, not to come, to turn back and whatever. But they come anyway, and Krisong is just like, what the fuck? If these are friends of the doctor, then they're going to be bait too. And Travers is like, actually, wait a sec. Like, it turns out it actually wasn't the doctor who attacked me. And kind of at the same time, Tomny shows up and is like, dude, Krisong, the stranger brought our cool bell back, and the abbot says that we need to be nice to him. And Krisong turns to the doctor and he's like, for real? Like, you brought the bell back? And the doctor's like, yeah, bro. And Krisong is just like, well, why the fuck didn't you say so earlier? And the doctor's like,
You'd already accused me of murder. You were hardly in the right frame of mind to listen to my story of how I came by the bell. Now where are you?
So Krisong unties him.
Nice.
Jamie and Travers and Victoria and the doctor are all discussing what they've been up to, filling each other in on their various mini adventures over the past episode. And Jamie shows the doctor the silver sphere that he took from the silver sphere pyramid in the cave. The doctor doesn't really have any idea what it might be. And, he just kind of looks at it for a minute and then sets it on the ground, kind of in the dirt and mud. Jamie and Victoria give a very brief description of the creature that they encountered. They didn't even mention McDonald's or Grimace at all. But based on the brief description, the doctor thinks it sounds like maybe the Yeti that Travers is looking for. except for the fact that the Yeti are shy and elusive and wouldn't approach or attack like that.
Maybe if you have some, like an order of McDonald's crispy chicken nuggets in your hand, then they will probably, the Yetis will get a little aggressive.
Yeah, totally. I think I did read that Grimace was actually originally a villain in McDonald Land.
Oh, wow. Probably eating so many nuggets is what turned him good.
Oh, that would make sense, yeah. Some of the warrior monks start getting excited and animated, and everyone goes and looks, and there are 3 Yeti outside now. Like, they actually did see Yeti this time. They're still a little ways away, and they're just kind of like hanging out. The monks start getting ready in case the Yeti attack, and the doctor asks if they do attack, if maybe the monks could capture one of them for him to examine. And Jamie basically laughs and he's like,
Hey, examine it. I will wrap it up for you. Thank you, Jamie.
Tommy.
But then Jamie's like, well, actually, I do have an idea that just might work to capture one. And the doctor immediately starts calling Victoria and like rushing away from Jamie with her.
Victoria, I think this is one of those instances where discretion is the better part of valor. Jamie has an idea. Come along. Come along.
That's awesome.
We cut to, a few minutes later where Jamie has made some preparations. We see him throw a final rope up to a monk who's like above the monastery gate. And then one of the 3 Yeti starts approaching. He's very, polite for it to like wait for Jamie to finish his preparations and stuff. But it starts approaching, and when it gets close, Jamie basically directs and project manages as some of the monks start hitting the Yeti with sticks, and other monks start pulling on ropes, and these ropes are attached to a net on the ground that the Yeti is standing on. So they basically like pull it up and it gets caught in the net.
Nice.
It basically like suddenly stops moving. Like, it's kind of like thrashing a bit and then it just stops, and they kind of think or assume or decide that it's dead now.
What the fuck? That's not like, okay, weird.
Yeah. They start like dragging it into the monastery. They are kind of wondering why the other 2 Yeti are like turning to leave instead of also coming to attack. Seems kind of weird, but like, guess it's probably good that they're not attacking. Meanwhile, the camera pans over to the silver sphere that the doctor had left in the mud, and it starts making kind of a little electronic burbly noise, and it starts rolling a little bit. We cut over to a very brief scene of one of the monks on his way to evening prayer in the courtyard, and he sees another one of these silver spheres just kind of like resting at the base of the Buddha statue. And he picks it up and looks at it for a minute, and then just like puts it back where he found it, continues on his way.
Huh. Weird. Okay.
Inside the monastery, they've dragged the Yeti in. They've laid the body out on a table, And the Doctor very quickly and easily realizes that it's actually not one of the abominable snowmen that Travers is looking for, because it's a robot.
Oh.
Like, he just like touches it and he's like, dude, you fucking idiots, like there's metal underneath this fur, and he like knocks on it and stuff.
Nice.
He starts trying to figure out like why it stopped moving, and he lifts a flap of fur. It looks like kind of this, the dark fur where its face would be is actually like a flap that you can open up. And
Nice.
Underneath that flap, he finds an empty socket the size and shape of the silver spheres.
Nothing there.
No. But there has been.
Interesting.
Back outside, we see the silver sphere from earlier still making its electronic burbly noise, and like it's trying to roll, but it's basically like stuck in the mud. And its burbling noise changes to a beeping, and then we cut to the sphere at the base of the Buddha statue, which also starts beeping, and it rolls away. And with that, music plays and credits roll.
Interesting. So basically the Cliff Dangler this time is, we don't know what the spheres do, but they go inside the robots. Interesting. Huh, well, this one's filled with all sorts of twists and turns. Like I wouldn't expect a Yeti, as I said before. But then, of course, there it is. And then you wouldn't expect the Yeti to be robots.
Right.
Like now, maybe you would, watching Doctor Who, because, and this is tying back to like that total trope when they caused the landslide to happen on the Yeti, and then his hand was sticking out, indicating that he was dead, but then it moved, indicating he wasn't dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's such a trope thing to do, but now I'm realizing, like, it's possible it was invented right then.
Yeah, it really could have been. I don't know for sure, but
at least that was early on in trope usage.
Yeah.
It was still like a proto-trope. And so, yeah, like maybe, the trope of, oh, but the bad guys were actually robots. This is still like proto-trope area for that one.
Yeah, I feel like Doctor Who probably had a lot of pretty early entries into that trope and like similar genre tropes.
Yeah, and like I think, like I bet they invented a lot of them, but I bet also a lot of them were like, we read in, this Jules Verne book about XYZ, and we're just gonna lift that.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, that's very interesting. Like not only from, a cool Doctor Who story standpoint, but from like a cultural standpoint, you can see, shit forming kind of back then that now is like, okay, we're making a sci-fi parody kind of thing, so we will do this and we will do that. And it's like Doctor Who walked so you can stumble.
Uh-huh.
Well, cool. Anything further we should know about this episode? I guess one question I have is, did you watch the live action version for one of your fun watch, and then the cartoon version for your notes watch, or did you watch the same version both times?
I did the other way around, actually. Yeah, because usually for my fun watch, I'll watch a few episodes at a time. And so in this case, like I had pulled up the animated serial on the YouTube channel and just, watched straight through like the first, I think I watched about half of it in one sitting and then half of it later. But yeah, so in my fun watch, when I watched the first half of the serial, it was just purely the animated version all in one YouTube video.
Okay.
Yeah. And then as I was doing my notes watch for episode 1 and reading up on it a little bit, that's when I realized, like, oh shit, episode 2 is the one that exists. I should try to watch that one. And then found it on the YouTube as well. So
nice.
Yeah. So I saw both of the official versions, animated and real.
That's cool. Do you have a preference between them?
I think in this case, I will go with animated just because of a couple of reasons. One is that the animated one is colored, and it's kind of fun seeing like the different colors of the monks' robes and stuff. And the other is that I mentioned that the animated version like preserves the visuals of the original pretty well in terms of like setting and like costume design and like the robot Yetis themselves. But the one thing that the animation, as far as I can tell, kind of departs from the live action version on is that in the animation, the monks actually look like Tibetan people instead of looking like English people disguised or brown-faced as Tibetan people.
Yeah, that's definitely preferable. I guess since we're getting kind of a pastiche of, like the British conception of what mystical Asian monks might be like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. I guess it's probably nice to kind of go back in on the animated version and say, we're fixing that little problem. Like, these guys are all white, and, there would not be any white guys in a monastery in Tibet.
Yeah, totally. And like, obviously they can't really like recast them without like changing the soundtrack and like the actors' voices and stuff, which, they want to preserve the original.
Right.
But I do appreciate that they at least, make them look Tibetan.
Yeah, that's good. Well, cool. Anything further about this episode we should know?
Nope, I don't think I had anything else.
Nice. Well, thanks, Kyle, for describing that to me so well, and thanks to our listeners for having their mysterious yet ever-present listening influence in the creation of this podcast.
Indeed. And thanks to you, Ryan, for talking about it with me. And thanks to our listeners who may have been expecting abominable snowmen, but might not have been expecting robots.
Right. Don't worry, listeners. The robots are still abominable.
In fact, possibly even more abominable than if they were actual Yetis.
Right. We could call them abominable snowbots.
Yeah. Like, we all know Yetis are timid and shy. That doesn't really seem very abominable to me.
Right, not at all. So, yeah, I bet the Yetis, by the end of this serial, will be glad that they finally got proper representation of being peaceful and shy.
Yeah, totally.
Once our heroes finally figure, out the actual situation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool. I'm excited for 2 weeks from now when we get to find out, I assume, what happens when you insert one of these spheres into the robot's face hole.
Indeed. And listeners, if you would like our podcast to be inserted into your site of head holes, come back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Or you can put the podcast in your face hole if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Probably most AirPods would fit up nostrils.
Yeah, right. You could like swallow it. That could be cool. Ingest the podcast.
Nice.
All right, cool. Well, listeners, if you ingest the podcast, let us know what happens. But until then, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.
Come. And about time, too. Come to release me, have you?
No, sir.
Oh. Oh, well. First things first. What's your name?
Tomney. You must come with me.
Oh, I see. Tomney. After we've had a little chat.
Crisson will be waiting.
No, just wait. Nobody seems to want to listen to me, and everyone is jumping to the wrong conclusions. Now, you seem to be a reasonable sort of chap. What's going on here?
We are besieged. The Yeti have turned upon us. At least that is what we thought until...
Until I turned up. I see. Every time I visit Detson, the monastery seems to be in some sort of trouble or other.
You have been here before?
That attack in 1630, what was the outcome?
You know something of our history.
Yes, a little.
That was also a dark period. It was then our holy Ganta was taken from us.
Oh, dear. Well, never mind. I'm sure it'll turn up again.